All right, well, greetings and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 Learfan Avia test flight. In this video, we'll be using the Lionheart Simulations add-on for the aircraft, and I'll be using the Air Force version today. And from time of recording, Happy Valentine's Day, and of all the memes you see here, these are the closest matches I can put here for some pre-flight entertainment. Now, of course, the Learfan 2100 here, of all experimental aircraft, that is actually my favorite. I've actually seen one in real life at the Museum of Flight in Seattle when I was 7 years old. Now, of course, in this video, I'm happy to have the Lionheart Simulations version of the aircraft, even though only 3 in real life were built. Neither of them are flight-worthy from time of recording. And also, before I go into the video, the United States Air Force should have Learfan Avia 2100s. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and quickly brief saying that we'll be flying over that body of water between Kilo Mike Tango Juliet and Kilo Golf Uniform Charlie. Just in case anything goes wrong with the plane, I will ditch the airplane in the water. You'll see why. The airplane's design is why. Now as we're going in, I'm going to go ahead and warn you that you're going to hear landing gear warning a lot because, I've reduced the throttle a lot because hence this video's title, this is a test flight. It really is. Okay, here we are in the cockpit of our Learfan Avia, either 2100 or 2200. I just call it an Avia. Yeah, Learfan Avia. Or just a Learfan, I call it. So, all right, here we go. We are checking the control surfaces. And I'll be doing that a lot to make sure that there's free movement. Especially from time of recording this video, I am in Civil Air Patrol. And, of course, you know that this is an aerospace organization that I'm part of. So, as you can see here, I'm showing and telling you to check for free movement of the control surfaces. As you can see here. And, of course, I've attended 2 flight encampments, glider, and they've shown and told me how to check for free movement. And looks like they're all checking out so far, but the aircraft is still cold and dark. And like I said from before about how many Learfan Avia, whatever this is, only 3 in real life were built, and neither of them, as of now, are flight-worthy. It's actually my favorite of all the concept aircraft. It looks very interesting for some reason, and when I went to the Museum of Flight in Seattle, the Learfan Avia 2100 or 2200, whatever it was, hanging on the ceiling there, it stood out to me. It looked beautiful. All right, and now we're doing exterior checks. Everything seems to be checking out okay. So very soon, we're going to go back into the cockpit. As you can see here, I'm doing this just like Gumby. Because as of now, and as always, and most likely will be, I am a fan of Gumby. And even though I'm in virtual reality, using an Oculus Quest 2, I'm using arrow keys to make that possible. To be like Gumby as best as I can. As you can see here, I'm going in just like Gumby, as well as his sister Minga, or whoever. In fact, all Gumby characters, you might have seen them before. They're able to, of course, nestle themselves into anything. You all right back there? Get out of the dark. I'm going to go ahead and open the window shades within a few seconds, as you can see here. Come on. Get out of the dark, into the light. That's what I'm telling the personnel back there. They will be flying along for testing. Now, I will do pushovers, as you can see here, because this, once again, it's a test flight for all you stupid people who watch my videos and need repeats. Now, bear in mind that each and every living organism is welcome to watch my videos. They are. And I try to accommodate them as best I can, because somebody's got to do it, you know. All right, let's open the windows. I wonder how we're doing that. And it's still dark in the plane. Not this time. Yes. Rise and shine. To all personnel back there. All set back there? Just about, if you ask me. Usual control surface checks to make sure that this thing's good to go. And if you ask why I do this in repeated intervals, it's to make extra sure. And make extra sure that I have freedom of movement, especially for the control surfaces. And now, let's see. Checking out the panel lights. Yes, I want all my lights on. This is a test flight, not some combat, whatever. Ooh, wow. Tablet of some kind. But I created this video from an iPod Touch and an iPad. Yep, the training placards are on. Very useful. Tools, of course. Ha! Nice one with the T. All right. Let's turn the training placards off. I know it looks techy, but good for a phase, until or unless you could learn for a time being. All right. As I'm looking around here, let's get this thing started. And soon and very soon, I'm going to poke my head out again, just like Gumby does, to see how the engine is doing. Garmin. That's actually part of what my brain is made by. Garmin. Oh, just like Gumby. Check it out. Making sure that the engine is on. And yes, it is on. Oh, yeah. This is the best place I can be. I could be like Gumby. Is with virtual reality. And of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And using arrow keys. Ah, good old FSX. You use those arrow keys, just to move the control surfaces. But this time, though, you can use them to move around, especially yourself, rather than just control surfaces. But bear in mind, too, that I was also using a yoke and pedals. I don't use VR controls for everything.
Okay.
VR for virtual reality, that is. Victor Romeo for virtual reality, of course. And as you can see here, I'm going to show and tell you how the flaps, of course, work. So, right here, I've lowered the flaps, and now I'm bringing them back up. I'm going to do this 3 more times, just to show and tell you how they work. The flaps are down. Flaps are going to come up any second now. There they come. I suppose 2 more times. Because with me being in Civil Air Patrol, I have to show and tell you at some points how these flaps work. Now, of course, this is how flaps work, especially for an airplane. And as of now, I'm going to go into the cockpit. And I'm going to show you how they work as well from our end in the cockpit. Okay, we are here. I'm going to move the I'm going to move the airplane right about now. All I have to do is program the autopilot and go. Now, we will do some autopilot testing because, that's part of how I want to carry out the test as of this morning from time of recording. And hopefully, y'all get to do something with your loved ones for Valentine's Day, if that applies to any of you watching this video. I want to make sure that my personnel are back alive and in one piece from time of recording. So as of now, let's see what's left to do. Program the heading. Maybe I did the altitude and whatnot. So, right now, let's see if I'm going to move the plane at all. Stand by. Yeah, those guys are never going to get out of the way. I'm moving it. They'll be alright. I turned the crash settings off so I can live like Gumby whenever I feel like it. Oh yeah, I could definitely use Gumby and his friends, family, and acquaintances to help fly this thing. Because if anything goes wrong, you know, we can bail out like Gumby. And, of course, retrieve the airplane from the water, that is. Because, alright, here's my emergency plan here. If the engine goes out, as usual, I'll land straight ahead. Oh, and we're moving now. I will close the throttle, and, of course, before V1, I will land straight ahead. I will close the throttle and, of course, go the opposite direction of oncoming traffic. And if I have an engine failure above, I will come back the way I came in. And not to mention that if I'm out of airport range, I'll just ditch this thing in that body of water between Mike Tango Juliet and Golf Uniform Charlie. And if I had, of course, the abilities like Gumby, as well as everyone else does, we'll just bail out of this thing like they would do. Alright, we're at the hold short. I'm going to show you how the flaps work. Or will I? Unless you saw the flap lever move. I better had seen it. So alright, here we are. We're taxiing onto the runway. If you ask why I'm not at the Coronado Airport from time of recording, it's because I need a body of water, and a lot of it. And I wanted that water specifically to be fresh, if anything went wrong. Especially with the airplane. Alright. I'm in position. Let's see. Are they lowering? Yep. They're lowering. Now let's, of course, look around. Make sure we're okay. And I will be poking my head outside just to entertain you as best I can. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh. Taking off now. Though I did not follow the path, as you can see there. Alright, so we're airborne now. So I'm going to raise the gear. You might be hearing the landing gear alarm like I briefed from before, but hold on, you know, some people want to see test flight videos, and this is something I could bring out. If there's anything I can say and or do better, especially about these videos, let me know so, and I'll work with you as best I can. Alright. Wow. There we go. We are, of course, flying overhead, heading towards, you know, that body of water. Now we're outside, looking beautiful, more green than the Duke. Even more mellow and quiet than the Duke, as you can see here. Yep. And I'm absolutely sure of it, that the United States Air Force, even the Navy, they should have a Learfan 2100 and 2200. Because those branches, they work with this stuff a lot. And I see it as a good tool as far as aircraft goes for experimentation and things like that. Now, of course, while we're at it, let's go outside. We're going to live a lot. Like Michelle Elizabeth Tanner said in that one episode when she bought the donkey from her lemonade money. She says, I'm going to live a lot. That's what we're doing here. And just like Gumby and his crew too, we're going to live a lot. Alright, so we're going to see how the autopilot behaves. The testing is still in progress from time of recording. So now let's engage the autopilot. And wonder how. Come on. Hitting select. Unless I engaged it already. Doesn't seem to be leveling out, but seems like something is taking place here. I'm programming it. Just need to get it to cooperate. But I'm so high up. If we have to ditch this thing at all, I just hope and pray that we won't have to. Of course, I just hope and pray that wherever we have to land in the water, it's not too deep or too shallow. And hope and pray that rescue can get to us sometime soon. All right, here we go. Programming the altitude as we see fit. Seems to be going down. I just hope that the airplane, of course, cooperates. I'm going to test the heading, see what that does. Come on. Let's see. You might have seen that the altitude, wow, it's increasing. Well, we got to decrease it somehow. Oh, it seems to be working. Test is satisfactory. I could tell that we're descending, but the airspeed is increasing. So that's what we're finding in this aircraft, is how it reacts to, of course, descent and increase of speed. Or whatever else a test pilot might do. So right here. Oh wow, it looks like the heading controls seem to be moving the aircraft. And so far there's been no need to ditch. Is everyone okay back there? Soon and very soon we're going to do a pushover. It's not very fun, but we got to do it at some point. A pushover means I push forward on the nose and put the aircraft in a dive. It's not really fun, but it's got to happen at some point. I mean, in this video, I have a piece of United States Air Force equipment, and of course, the Air Force had asked me to test this thing. And of course, myself, even though this is fictional, and the rest of my crew on board agreed to test this thing. In fact, we're gonna torture this plane. It seems as though. Oh. What's next now? Oh yeah. Looks like a pushover is going to happen any minute now. Perhaps one more thing about the heading, as you can see here. We seem to be moving. And we're in that direction. Looks like we're running out of area, as you can see here, so I'm likely going to put this plane down in Mike Tango Juliet. Let's see. Well, there's water nearby, but we're too high up. I just hope I can land in it okay, if need be. Yeah, the reason why I fly the Learfan Avia 2100 over water is to show and tell that, yes, if anything goes wrong, I like to land it on water. If for some reason we can't make it to any airport. Like if the tail is damaged, which I hope it isn't, and it better not be, I'll land it on water. Okay, we're doing a tactical turn, it looks like. Alright, here we go. Here's your pushovers. Wow, so many destinations to choose from, as you can see here. Alright. Looks like we're doing our pushovers now. And of course it's a simulator, so nothing's going weightless from where I was. As in, nothing is floating in the air, thanks to zero gravity on board. And at least there's, of course, no need to worry about negative G's from time of recording because I was at a computer. Now, if there was a time to worry, it would be with the real thing. And here you go. Here's your pushover, as you can see here. Alright, I'm going to pull you out of the pushover. Ain't that something? Alright, we're nearby Mike Tango Juliet. And of course, this was a test flight from time of recording. And it always will be a test flight from time of recording. And of course, there's still some testing that needs to be done. So as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and start making my way down towards Mike Tango Juliet. But how, though? Alright, I'm going to assess the area. Alright. And, of course, I just need to jockey this thing into position in order to land. And of course, while we're landing, I'm going to go and transition to one more thing. Alright, while we're at it, you know, I'm going to break down, in summary, saying that I like the Learfan Avia 2100/2200 because of all concept aircraft, I, for some reason, found it beautiful when I went and saw one at the Museum of Flight in Seattle, Washington, when I was 7 years old. The aircraft was also, you know, of course, very pleasing to my eye for some reason. I suggest take that up with my heart. That's why I thought that way. And of course, the Learfan that I have here is just a made-up variant that Lionheart Simulations put here. And of course, in real life, you know, there were no mass productions of Learfan Avia 2100 and 2200s. And there should have been. There especially should have been for the Air Force and the Navy, because they deal with this stuff a lot. Oh! I'm not landing at wherever that is, right down there. And yes, the Learfan 2100 and 2200, it's a good plane. I've flown it before, playing Flight Simulator, especially in virtual reality. It's a lot of fun to fly. Of course, while we're transitioning out of the video, we're flying by Gunnison River Farms. Then from there, oh yes, I made these turns on purpose, hence the video's title, as you can see here. Well, see, the real thing, if this was the real thing, I'd be sick afterwards. This is not something you should be doing every day, and I'm painfully aware of that. I know so from experience. As cool as it is, you know, I've gotten sick, you know, from flying before. I'm no stranger to it. It's true. Yeah. We're landing. I'm like Tango Juliet for right now. So like I did in the beginning of the video, I'm going to show you from my end how I lower the flaps and the gear. And also, we will practice an aborted takeoff as part of the test for this aircraft. Now with the autopilot, while we're at it, I'm going to say that satisfactory. Could be better. Maybe I still need to tinker with the autopilot a little better, which you'll probably see in a future gameplay. And yes, I'm making these turns on purpose here. And you should know why, if you've read the video's title. And of course I'm flying this way on purpose, hence the video's title. Right now we're headed for Mike Tango Juliet, as you can see here. Yes, I know I'm too high, but this airplane's very, very small, yet tiny. Correction, yet powerful. It's not a jet, it's a turboprop that I'm flying. I better make it okay. Because as of right now, I'm out of range from enough water, in a big enough area worth of water, for me to ditch this thing if need be. All right, now I'm positioning up for landing. And of course, I'm jockeying the position to land, as you can see here. And of course, practice the aborted takeoff, as you can see here.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Now,
Landing gear. Landing
let's
gear.
see what happens here.
Landing gear.
Runway looming into
Landing
view,
gear.
according to this. Now that runway's pretty long, so that's why I'm going to do the aborted takeoff practice.
500.
Now, of course, like I said from before, about the Air Force trusting me to test this airplane, I'm doing it. And in fact, the Air Force and the Navy, they should have Learfan Avias for experimental purposes. They could be used for whatever else as well. All right. Should touch the ground right about now. Yes, we're here. We're gonna take off just for a brief moment again. Because, you know, I want to see what happens. Let's just see how it does. Now, abort, abort. Look out. Hold on. All right. Reaching the end of the runway here. And I'm going to go ahead and step on the brakes. Not a good thing to do in the real thing. But since it's a simulator, it works. At least I did not burn the brakes out in this video. Because I will admit, that from the rudder pedals, I stepped on them. And that's why I'm right here. It's because I stepped on those rudder pedals. And now, let's make our way to the fueling area. Now, of course, I'm only going to put the airplane in a certain position to show and tell other personnel, saying that, no, you have to learn to move this thing. I'm not going to move it there for you. As you can see here. Or you're about to see that. Like I said from before, no, you need to learn to move this thing yourself. Correction, yourselves. All right. Now the flaps are coming up. Now, let's see where that fueling area is. All right. So here we go now. Making our way to the fuel box. And then from there, I change personnel and crew. All right. Now I must ask everyone, you got everything? Even as I turn my attention to the cabin. You got everything? You're not coming back to the airplane to get it. Make sure that nothing we brought is left here, okay? Make this plane cleaner than how you found it when I stop at the fuel box, that is. It's looming into view now. Go ahead. Y'all are Air Force personnel from time of recording, so you should be able to do things whilst in motion. I'll make sure that everything is picked up. And let's change personnel. Yeah, let's change crew and personnel from time of recording. Got everything? Ready to go? I think so. Now, of course, enjoy slideshow from time of recording. Here's a breakdown. All right, back at Golf Uniform Charlie. Also back at Golf Uniform Charlie. Getting the personnel out of the dark. Being like Gumby, as you can see here. Using arrow keys. And now I'm continuing to check the control surfaces for free movement. They all appear to have such things, but the reason why I went in repeated intervals is to show and tell that I'm an aerospace leader and I have to teach some of that. And I will do so. All right. Rise and shine. Time to go test from what it looks like. This aircraft, of course. This was part of the test too. Because I still, from the time being of recording this video, don't know this aircraft real well. And yep, I'm going to be like Gumby quite a bit. Sticking my head out. Making sure each and everything is okay. Alright, takeoff roll begins. We're in the air now. We need to head for the water bodies now. Heck yeah. Hope and pray not to ditch, especially not there. We're in the area over Golf Uniform Charlie. Headed for the water area in case a test goes wrong. And then from there, we ditch the aircraft if need be. Just looking around the aircraft / airplane. There's the other personnel's points of view. Making our way to Mike Tango Juliet. Here it is. A few more tests. And of course, the testing is complete from time of recording. If you like, please like and subscribe. If you have any requests, let me know. And I will make those videos for you or whatever those requests were. If you like, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent Valentine's Day.